jump to, and then they come to the chair and the water, and then they go a complete circuit. Katerina is one of the last 2 years. Sam Whaley-Cohen, she's not competing this year. And let's have a look at the runners and riders. 27 of them. Number 1 is Algarve, Mr. Michael O'Connor. 2 is Alfazar, Mr. Emmett Mullins. 3, Arctic Times, the mount of Richard McClernand. Beachcomber Bay is Jim Keeling. Ben Raja, Mr. Richard Tierney. Cedar Chief is Gordon Gallagher. Drombeg, JT McNamara. Encore Kadudal is Tina Jackson. Eskimo Jack, Luke Morgan. Fable, Jamie Codd. Gangster Saras, Ran Morgan. Gadamis is Paul Callaghan. Holy Joe, Ollie Greenall. Down to 14, Jacksonville, Miss Vicky Simpson. Le Passing, Tom Greenall. Moving Earth is Charlie Ward. 17 is Ned Kelly, Kevin Power. Our Jolly Swagman, Emma Torrey. Pack Jack is Richard Harding. River Dante, Josh Guerriero. Royal Hector, Adrian Wintle. Scots Grey, Richard Burton. Tanager is Richard Barrett. Van Ness, Tim Edwards. Vava Voom, David Kemp. Where Now, Nina Carberry. And Wilfie Wild is Lynn Ward. They're the 27 runners for this Foxhunters. And with full details of betting, here's Angus Loughran.
Well, we've got joint favourites here in Scots Grey and Ned Kelly. Scots Grey was put in at 7-2, but there's plenty of 4-1. Although interestingly, when I saw 9-2 a minute ago, that was taken off, rubbed off, and it's now 4-1. Ned Kelly, very popular at 9-2, and that's going. If you fancy Ned Kelly, take the 9-2. The general show is 4-1. The Passing and Drombeg around about 6-1 chances. Those have both been well backed. And there's a sneaky outsider, Jacksonville. That's been backed at 100-1. I also say good support at around about 50-1 for Gangsters R Us at 50s. That's now probably a 33-1 chance. But Ned Kelly, that's challenging for favouritism with Scots Grey. 4-1 each of 2 down here.
Well, a bittersweet moment this for Sam Whaley-Cohen, because he'd much rather be out there on one of these horses. Sadly, Katerina's gone wrong, having won this race the last 2 years, though. You know these jockeys well, and you do need to go for people that have got a lot of experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's horses for courses and it's jockeys for courses. You know, you want to come here with some experience and some real confidence. You know, the horses pick up the vibe very much from the jockey. Talk about a sixth sense. And if the jockey's sort of knees are knocking together, the horses might start knocking as well.
Now, the horse you probably have seen most of is Scots Grey, and we're going to see him come round in just a second or two. Richard Burton on board. Now, he's been very successful point-to-pointing, hasn't he?
Yeah, Bertie's an excellent jockey. He really knows what he's doing. He's very strong in a finish. He's very balanced to a fence, and he'll give him a top-class ride.
Nina Carberry's also in there, JT McNamara, Kevin Power, he's a pretty decent rider.
Yeah, the Irish jockeys know their way around here. Nina's obviously excellent. You can't win it without the horse, and I think Nina may be struggling a bit today. JT will show the professionals what the best route is to do it. He's the man for the cross country races. He really knows how to ride over fences that need jumping, so he'll go well.
And JT McNamara on board Drombeg, who won the Foxhunters at Cheltenham. You can see the horses here making their way out onto the course. Now, it's just over one circuit of the Grand National course, and the chair comes up awfully early. John Parrott is there.
Still one of the best spectacles in sport, Claire, jumping over this fence to chair. Got a massive ditch here, of course. I'm 6'2" in height, and you can see the fence towering over me here. They've got a really well-lit takeoff board here. Good thing for the amateurs, they've got a couple of fences before they get here, so a chance to get the horses into a nice rhythm and tempo, hopefully see a stride and ping over the top of it. It might not be quite as severe as it used to be, but it's still a formidable fence. How Scudamore and Pittman's ever jumped that, I'll never know.
Yes, the horses leaving the parade ring. Joining me is Carol Evans from the Racing Post Weekender. It's an intriguing contest, this Foxhunters chase.
Certainly is, Brian, but I've got to be honest and say I can't see many point-to-pointers coming out of the woodwork to beat the big names in this contest. This is, after all, one of the sort of championships for the point-to-point and hunter chase circuit, and it looks to me like it's very much dominated by the top stables. In fact, some licensed trainers are likely to be picking up the trophy at the end of the day.
Horses that you like, Scots Grey, possibly Drombeg, looked very well.
Yeah, Drombeg did look well, and of course he won nicely at Cheltenham last time. He won the Foxhunter chase, the Christie's Foxhunter chase at Cheltenham, so he's perhaps the horse that's shown the best form lately. But yes, Scots Grey, Nicky Henderson's horse, ridden by the 3-time British champion Richard Burton, the horse and rider was so impressive at Newbury, and he's the one that's going to be carrying my money.
Ned Kelly, of course, that's interesting. Scots Grey for Carol Evans. Ned Kelly, of course, is a former Irish champion hurdle winner. I think Norman Williamson will confirm. I think Norman steered it to win at Leopardstown. He was third at Cheltenham, and he'll appreciate coming back in trip. It's 4 furlongs less this afternoon.
Certainly will suit Ned Kelly, yes, as you say, Brian. 3.25 miles to Cheltenham was just too far for him. Going to be interesting to see what he makes of the fences, though, today, isn't it? Whereas there are other horses who have been round this track, and they'll be happy out there.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Brian.
Ned Kelly, who, as we say, you partnered him, Norman, knowing well. Now, to me, he didn't quite see the trip home at Cheltenham. This is an easier track, but will he jump these fences well?
Yeah, I was lucky enough to ride him, Richard. I won an Irish champion hurdle on him. A horse with a huge amount of ability and class. Edward O'Grady has done a wonderful job to get him back racing, because he's had a lot of leg trouble over his years. But ran a cracking race in Cheltenham. Looked as though he didn't quite get home. Travelled all the way. He's got a good young man on his back in Kevin Power. Loads of experience, rides plenty of winners. I think he'll jump well. He usually fiddles away his fences. He's not too brave, and 4 to 1 favourite. He probably deserves to be favourite. If he's on the top of his game, he'll go on the ground, and whether he jumps is anybody's guess, but he's a fine big horse and he should jump well.
Okay. Well, what about John Begg? Now, John Begg ran in this race last year, and do you remember, you know him well, he made a bit of a mistake at the 4th. He tried almost to run out, having jumped the water, and then looks as if he wanted to go home.
Yeah, that's probably why he wears the cheek pieces, Richard, but a good winner at the Cheltenham Festival of the Foxhunters. John Thomas McNamara rides him, and he's, without any shadow of a doubt, the most experienced jockey in the race. He's ridden more point-to-point winners than anyone else, but John Begg, he'll be up with the pace. He jumps soundly, and if you've backed him, you'll certainly get a run for your money.
Now, the grey horse was bred by Willie Carson, who will be sitting at home watching this absolutely on the edge of his seat going, yeah, come on, Scots Grey.
Yeah, well, it shows how old we're getting, Richard, because Willie bred him and I rode him in his first hurdle race and won. But he's a good horse, jumps really soundly. He had a very bad fall here a couple of years ago at the Canal Turn, but usually a sound jumper, likes to race up at the pace as well.
Well, John Parrott will not get out of the chair, so we're going to go back to him.
Yes, other people who take a great interest in this fence, of course, are photographers. Look at the setup here. We've got Dan Abrahams from Racing Photos. This must be a really popular fence for you.
It's brilliant. The horses have to put in a fantastic leap to get over this. So sometimes they make spectacular pictures, so it's pretty good for that.
So it'll be this fence and sort of Beeches Brook as well, will it?
Yeah, but it's a bit difficult getting from here to the beaches. It's a bloody long way.
Which is the best photograph you've had at this fence, do you think?
A couple of years ago, when only a few horses finished, the horse stopped and the jockey flew over the top of the fence, which was, for me, was my best ever picture here. So that was pretty good.
So looking for another one today?
Yeah, they come once every 10 years, so maybe it's yeah, it'll be okay. A couple more.
Okay, Dan, thanks. We better get out of the way anyway, because you've got to take those shoes out of the way. If the horses see those, they will fall over. Well.
Yes, down at the start now, 27 runners. Of course, the chair is the 3rd fence here, which makes it totally different from the National itself. Let's catch up with the betting.
Well, 2 horses at the top of the betting. It's Ned Kelly, who's just the market leader at 4 to 1, 9 to 2 Scots Grey, 6 to 1 John Begg and Le Passing. Those two are both very popular. But the interesting each way horse is this number 4, Beachcomber Bay. 18, 16 into 14s. That's the one they've gone for at the bigger prices. But Ned Kelly and Scots Grey are the market leaders. At the moment, Ned Kelly is the 4 to 1 favourite, with Scots Grey 9 to 2, second best.
Let's have a look at a 6 to 1 shot, Le Passing, and Tom Greenall on board this one, a man Sam Whaley-Cohen knows well. We've got 2 sets of brothers actually riding the race. We've got 2 Carberries riding the Grand National on Saturday. But Sam, Tom and Ollie Greenall riding in this race.
Yeah, I was talking to the Merlin saying, how do you decide between horses? And Tom said, well, I'm oldest, so I get to choose. So I think it tells us a little bit that he's got on Le Passing, despite the horse probably not showing amazing form earlier in the season.
And the other brothers are?
The Morgans, Ran and Luke again. Ran is riding for his mother, and I said, why are you riding for your mother, Eskimo Jack? He goes, I gave her a better Christmas present. So it's very much a family affair out there today.
Well, in fact, there are also sisters riding in this. Lynn Ward on the bottom one, 27, and Tina Jackson on the 8-horse. They're sisters. So it's a big family affair, this.
There'll be no love lost between them out there today. They'll be all trying to win, I'm sure.
Tina Jackson actually is a partner of Derek Thompson's brother, but he's much different to Derek.
I don't know what you mean, Richard. I don't know what you mean. Well, what about the chances of Pack Jack with Richard Harding on board?
Yeah, I rode against Pack Jack in a Hunter Chase. He just didn't put it together at all. I think he was a very tricky ride sort of last season, Timmy Murphy giving him some great rides. I'll be very interested to see if he does come back today. He's just changed yards very recently from John Choice Rolfs, and maybe that make a difference. But, you know, for me, I think he probably is going to have it all to do today.
But, you know, the whole thing about this, Sam, surely is because it's so close to the third, you go too fast all the time. They go way over the top.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an element of terror in there. It's like sort of open the throttle and hope for the best. You know, it's an important 3 fences. It's probably the most important of the whole race. You can win or lose it very, very quickly out here. You know, I think they'll be trying to get them in a balance and just get over the first 3, many of them.
Well, Peter Haynes just checking and can't let them go early, Claire, can they?
No, absolutely. It would be very much against the rules, and everybody now should have their bets on if you've made your selection. And Jim McGrath is going to start the team of commentators off in this today.
Yes, I'll be starting off in the grandstand, taking them over the first 4. Then we cross to Ian Bartlett, who's on the side of the course, just past the Melling Road. Down at Beecher's Brook, Tony O'Hare and Darren Owen is the 4th voice you'll hear. He's over near Valentine's. Coming in now. No, there's one broken through the tape. In fact, there's about 6 of them broke through there. Algarve was the one that was very, very eager. And the starter, Peter Haynes, insisting that all horses get a fair start, quite rightly as well, and says there were a couple far too eager for their own good. Now let's have a look. Now Scots Grey, you can see that's Algarve over on the far side, white cap. The grey is Scots Grey. Vava Voom is very prominent as well. So there were 2 or 3 there that were going to get a very unfair advantage, and so he's quite correctly called them back and said, now come on, relax and come forward, all in a line. So they jump 2 plain ones, and then they come to the chair. The chair is number 3, the water is number 4, and it's only a short run to that first fence, as you can see. Peter Haynes, he's let them go. They're off and running now, the Foxhunters, and Scots Grey, the first one to show out as they come towards the first of 18 fences now. Where now has jumped it okay on the inside. Further back, Gadamis and then Algarve. They're all over the first safely. Gangsters are us is just behind them, and Royal Hector back in the field over the second. And it's Scots Grey, the leader, by 2 or 3 lengths to Algarve in second. River Dante is up in third, as they've all got over that clearly. Gadamis is next, followed by Arctic Times the inside. Then further back in the field is Where Now, followed by Pack Jack as they come to the chair. And over that in front is Arctic Times, and back in the field, our Jolly Swagman has gone. So too has Ben Raja. They're the 2 casualties at the chair. Coming to the water, Scots Grey leads over from Arctic Times and Gadamis. Then on the outside is Algarve, followed by Pack Jack and River Dante. Bava Voom and Where Now are next, followed by Royal Hector and passing the inside from Drumbeg. Further back in the field, then on the outside is at this stage Beachcomber Bay in the white jacket with the green cross belts. Then on the inside, further back is Fable, followed then by Holy Joe. Then on the inside, Ned Kelly. Back in the field, Alphazar, followed then by Gangsters Are Us, and then on the inside, Cedar Cheek, as they come over the Melling Road now, and back towards the rear is Wilfie Wild as we join Ian Bartlett.
With Scots Grey out in front, Arctic Times with the green cap, the cheek piece is on, is next to him. Gadamis in the black jacket is next to Algarve, and then comes River Dante towards the inside. Vava Voom passing behind these. Gable, the Fable is then towards the inside as they come to their next plain fence. Behind those is Drombag. Towards the outside is Royal Hector, who's shown prominently. Wilfie Wild is some way behind them as they come down to this open ditch. And it's Scots Grey who leads, to Arctic Times in second, Hadamis and Packjack and Vavavoom. Behind those is Algarve, and then comes River Dante from Royal Hector. Behind that, Le Passing. Beachcomber Bay is next, Drombag. Ned Kelly on the inside, then Wen now being followed through by Holy Joe as they get over the next plain fence. The leaders getting over that safely enough. Cedar Chief is right at the back of the field with Wilfie Wild. They're out of contention. Scots Grey still in front with Arctic Times. Here's Tony O'Hare.
Over the fence before Beechers and Scots Grey from Arctic Times in second. Packjack runs third. They're followed by Royal Hector. Towards the centre of the track, Le Passing not far behind these with Beachcomber Bay. Gadami's just behind them, and they're followed by River Dante. And then comes Algarve as they come to Beechers with Scots Grey in the lead. Arctic Times along the inside in second, and they're followed over by Packjack. And Le Passing was a faller there. A bad mistake by Vavavoom. Ned Kelly is also gone. Ned Kelly down at Beechers, and the one that's going to jump it a long way behind is Cedar Chief as the leaders take the Foynaven. Scots Grey, the leader, followed by Arctic Times. In third place behind these, Packjack, and they're followed by Royal Hector. Gadami's Drumbieg is making a bit of ground, then Beachcomber Bay. This just being pushed along is River Dante. They're followed by Algarve. Scots Grey leads at the canal turn from Arctic Times, Packjack, and gone at that one is Royal Hector, and mistake in mid-division by Fable, and another one gone towards the back of the field was Vavavoom as Scots Grey leads Arctic Times, and Packjack gone second over Valentine's as we go to Darren Owen.
And Scots Grey continues to force the pace with 5 fences left to jump, chased by Packjack. Arctic Times is to the rail. That was 5 out. The leading 3 are over safely. Drombeg is to the rail, followed by River Dante. Beachcomber Bay further back to Encore Cadu Dal, and then Where now is being followed by the pushed along Algarve, but 4 from home the last ditch, and it's Scots Grey who flies it in front by several lengths to Packjack second. Arctic Times ridden along. Hadames next, Drombeg staying on, and these are chased by Beachcomber Bay, River Dante, Encore Cadu Dal, and that was 3 out, and it's Scots Grey still making it, approaching the Melling Road, 4 lengths clear. Packjack second. Arctic Times is in third place. Jacksonville has been pulled up. They're well strung out. Scots Grey, Packjack, Arctic Times, Drombeg, Hadames and Beachcomber Bay, and a major break to River Dante. They've got 2 fences left to jump. The Greys in front. That's Scots Grey, and here's Jim McGrath.
And can he hang on? Scots Grey's third attempt over the big national fences. He fell in the Topham in 2004, and he was 11th last year. But Packjack is the big challenger on the outside. Looms up now in the light blue cap. Richard Harding riding confidently. Scots Grey, Mr. Richard Burton on the inside, and they've drawn right away from the others as they come up now towards the second last. Packjack on the near side of the Foxhunters, leads to it by 3 parts of a length, gets over it okay from Scots Grey. A long gap then to Arctic Times, followed by Gadami's running on fairly well. Scots Grey is trying to rally on the far side here as Packjack leads him now towards the last in the Foxhunters. Gets over it about 3 parts of a length in front. Now Scots Grey gets to work again on the inside, trying to peg back this leader, and they're a long way clear of Gadami's, followed further back by Drombeg as they come up towards the elbow in the Foxhunters. Scots Grey is rallying well. He's got through on the inside. He holds the rail as they come up now with 100 yards left to run. Scots Grey and Packjack together. There's nothing between them. Scots Grey finding plenty on the inside. Packjack trying hard to come back at him, but he's pulled this out of the fire. Scots Grey gets up to win the Foxhunters for Mr. Richard Burton from Packjack. A gallant second. Third then was Nina Carberry on Ware now, followed then by Arctic Times, and further back Gadami's. They're followed then by Drombeg. Back in the field, Holy Joe. Then Beachcomber Bay, Van Ness. Behind them is Fable, Eskimo Jack. They're followed then by Moving Earth, and a few more coming over the line. Alphas are the last.
Swagman, Ben Raja.
So the placings, the winner is number 22, Scots Grey, ridden by Mr. Richard Burton. Second, number 19, Packjack, Mr. Richard Harding. Third is number 26, Where Now, Nina Carberry. And fourth is Arctic Times, ridden by Mr. Richard McClernand.
Richard Burton, many congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How do you feel?
Awesome, it was awesome. Couldn't believe I was able to make it. A bit tired now.
You jumped from fence to fence, gave an absolute exhibition.
Yeah,
Foot perfect. I think he's learnt his lessons, Mick said. Had a heavy fall a few years back, and he's cute as a cat today. Great.
What does it really mean to win the Foxhunters? You know, it's the Amateurs Grand National.
I knew this one, I never probably have a better chance than this. And to come up with the goods, I'm over the moon.
You've been champion point-to-point rider in England many, many times, but this is the one you really wanted.
The big ones, it takes them, they don't come around very often, do they? And Jamie Snowden, it's his ride, he's broke his ankle. You know, I've thanked my lucky stars, poor old Jamie there.
You're out of breath, but it was a wonderful, wonderful performance, trained by Nicky Henderson, and Pack Jack mounted Richie Harding. You must have thought he had it.
Yeah, got the second last wrong, he did. I've winged it. Nip and tuck the whole way up the running.
Well enjoyed. Many, many congratulations. Great win.
Cheers.
Good for Nicky.
What a wonderful, wonderful race to watch. Sam Whaley-Cohen just saying, isn't it good for Nicky? And you just told me you might have ridden this horse if your ride, Caterino, had been out of the race a little bit earlier. But what a sensational battle between these two. Pack Jack on the left, Scots Grey on the right. It's a long, long run from the last to the line, and particularly long if you're an amateur jockey, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, you can't believe it. It feels like a lifetime. I mean, they say Aintree is about courage, and this is what it is. I mean, you've got to jump the fences, but then you've got to show what you're really made of, and Scots Grey's really done that today.
You said beforehand what a good jockey Bertie is, and the decisive move there was getting the rail, making sure he wasn't squeezed out, holding the rail, and that does help.
Yeah, he's ridden very well from the last. I think actually all the way around he's been great. He's just let the horse pick and choose its own stride, not try and bustle it.
But take nothing away from Richard on the second horse, either Richard Harding, only he had no chance to get that rail, and he's gone and got in front and got headed.
And absolutely, he looked like he timed it perfectly, actually. You're watching it, you would think, has Scots Grey gone too soon? Richard Harding comes past on Pack Jack, and Scots Grey, what a brave horse to come back and find a little bit more at the end of 2 miles, 5.5 furlongs.
Little Willie might get a breeder's prize.
He'll be very excited watching this at home.
But didn't he jump? I mean, for fun.
Absolutely perfect.
Brilliant.
We'll go through the full replay shortly and show you all the thrills and spills.
So the winner coming back now, that's Scots Grey, Mr. Richard Burton. And early estimates are that there were 21 finishes. We'll check that for you, but that's a very high number. Scots Grey, there he is. He's bounced back. He's had this is his third run over the national fences. Now, I'm getting word that 19 finishes, possibly 2 of those that we did see cross the line didn't jump the last, but that's the early estimate anyway. It's a very high number to have 19, if that is the number, out of 27 is quite a high number. But a good exhibition by Scots Grey, who's really bounced back. He's run twice before on the Topham, and this was the race of his life, and he set off out there in front, and he really jumped well. The other one who was heavily backed, Ned Kelly. Ned Kelly came to grief at Beaches. Now, Pack Jack was there, staking a claim 2 out. Richard Harding was the rider of Pack Jack, and he's now with Brian Gleeson.
Yes, Jim, Richie Harding on the runner-up, so near and yet so far, agonising.
Yeah, a great spin, jump great throughout, travel great, just got caught in the line by a horse like Nicky Henderson. Scots Grey, he won 100 chase the last day with 15 lengths, you know. Still a great spin, you know. Just unlucky not to get there.
You must have thought turning in, I'm going to win the Amateurs Grand National.
Well, I thought I was going better than the eventual winner, and I left him, my horse carried me all the way. I left him running along my hands, and the other horse just caught me in the line.
Never mind, with a great spin, well done.
Thank you.
Yes, so near and yet so far for Pack Jack. There's the winner, Scots Grey. And a grand sight it is too, the traditions of the hunting world. and a delighted rider. And that's really one of the great things about British racing, as far as I'm concerned, and that is that it seems that all areas of the game are catered for, and the amateurs are a very, very important part of the fabric of national hunt racing. And the point-to-point field and hunting, hunter chasers, and it's great for them to have their day. And this is a celebration for them, the Foxhunters. If you happen to win it, to be as proud as if you won the Grand National. So he's getting the applause of the crowd with that new stand in the background. It's been a long walk back for him. And there he is, Mr. Richard Burton, rider, and the horse Scots Grey. Let's check full details now on the Foxhunters.
Plenty of fun in running there, but Scots Grey returned the 9-2 second favourite. Ned Kelly, incidentally, the unplaced 4-1 favourite, was subject to a bet at £10,000 at 9-2. Scots Grey went even money as it jumped Beecher's